All right, so today we are looking at, well, right now we're looking at a baby, but soon we'll be looking at the VCT, aka Valorant Champions Tour Americas, a competitive esport tournament. Today we'll be focusing on stage 2 of the 2024 season with NRG versus Sentinels.
This will be the second half of the match with the current score standing at 4-8 NRG to Sentinels. NRG will be on the offense with Sentinels defending. Will NRG be able to make a comeback now that the sides have swapped?
Coming off the first half of the game, both teams start with a fresh economy and this will be a pistol round. One thing to notice is that the teams will buy a ghost, except on their agents with the most useful utility. So in this case for NRG, that would be their Breach and their Clove, who instead opts to buy abilities instead, and for Sentinels, that would be their Omen and their Fade.
Now, more on NRG, we have Ethan, Crashies, Victor, and after failing to qualify for Masters Shanghai, an offline Chinese Valorant tournament, they made some pretty important changes. So we have Marved out of the team, Demon 1 is on the bench, replaced by Som and FNS. The player to look out for is FNS. He stepped away from streaming to compete in this tournament. People are hyped at his return, and after all, he's admired as an IGL. Although this is his first official match in 10 months, he's got an incredible track record. Som is also coming back to this lineup. He's deemed one of, if not the best, controller.
Here we just witnessed Energy Victor tucking into the corner to delay the damage that was coming through. In doing this, he makes use of the fact that grenades do less to no damage if you are not directly in the line of fire. This allows him some extra time before he rapidly goes into the movement that assists Energy in moving forward.
And just to list off some names, we got Ethan, the in-game leader for NRG. Crashy is also known as Austin Roberts. He's been consistently rated a top-tier initiator in Valorant. And Victor Wang, who is a reliable and adaptable player.
Looking at the highlights from the first round, one of the big plays here is when Gecko throws his dizzy flashbang right through a little spot in the ceiling, blinding two players. This technique makes it so that there's not enough time for the enemy to see the flash or avoid it before it goes off. Since Dizzy's mechanic makes it so that there's a wind-up period before going off, this technique makes it so that the moment Dizzy gets into the enemy's line of sight, they're immediately blinded. Also, since Sentinels are so close to the door, being blinded creates a perfect opportunity for NRG to get kills.
The team that wins this pistol round will be at a huge advantage for the next round, as their economy will be much better than the other team and they'll be able to buy better guns. An NRG victory on the pistol round forces the Sentinels to play an eco round, where instead of buying guns, they opt to save their money for the next round to have a better chance of winning. NRG, on the other hand, decide to full buy to hopefully push their advantage even further and win this round against Sentinels. Sentinels have almost no chance of winning this round, so they'll instead play to get cheap kills here and there from NRG, trying to ruin their economy from next round and making sure they don't have guns for the next one.
In Valorant, a Cypher can gather information and secure areas with the ability to reveal enemy locations. Because of this, it's difficult to pull off these flank plays where a team will attack from the rear. In this case, NRG had the advantage of defense by being very explosive when they pushed out. On the other hand, if SEN were to push on defense, it wouldn't be a big set play, and that doesn't do well against Cyphers.
NRG currently has a firm hold on C point, while Sentinels are desperately trying to make do with their pistols. Right now, things are not looking great, as it's 3-5. And Finesse has just gotten a double kill, ending any chances of NRG making a comeback for round 14. Now with the score being 6-8, the once 4-point lead that Sentinels has had has just been cut in half. This next round, it seems that both teams are out for blood, with every single player having assault rifles rather than the once unbalanced pistols and ARs.
All right, now more on the teams. On Sentinels, we have a pretty intact lineup with 10Z, Zekin, John QT, Zelsis, and Sacy. Prior to this match, they took a pretty bad loss and didn't put up the numbers to qualify for Shanghai. But now, after feeling burnt out, they're back from their well-deserved rest, hopefully making a difference in their performance.
An expected NRG win on the previous round puts them in a bonus round, where instead of opting to buy new guns, they instead save what they already had in order to beat Sentinels. Sentinels, on the other hand, are forced to do a full buy in the hopes of winning this round. If they don't, this could be extremely dire for Sentinels, and they might not be able to win this game should they lose here.
Right now, it looks like NRG is rotating from their original plans to attack A point, and are moving back through their spawn with plans to put pressure on either B or C.
Normally, in comps that include Cypher and Deadlock, there is a tendency to stack both their utility on one side while 3 players fight on the other side. So, teams are left with the choice of leaning into heavy utility play or using heavy players. There is a strategy of creating a strong site versus a weak site.
NRG is currently moving towards a C after a failed first push onto A. The path ahead is well defended, and oh, it looks like Ethan just team killed Victor, leaving NRG with a big disadvantage for the fight ahead. Oh, both Ethan and Finesse are hit with utility while entering C, and while they have a slight hold, it looks like all of the Sentinel side is still alive. Oh, and here it looks like Finesse is trying to challenge Tens as he's trying to slowly peek out of the smoke. Who will win? Who will win? Let's see. Oh, and it looks like Tens has just won the fight.
Now we see Energy is running out of time for the spike a little bit, but they do make it on time. As a little bit of background, in Valorant, the goal of the attackers is to plant the spike, and the defender's goal is to defuse the spike. Here we see that Sentinels is able to defuse the spike, leaving Energy with a loss for this round.
Despite their loss, this was a decent bonus round from NRG, even in the fashion that it happened. Here in this replay, we can see the comical moment where the Aftershock drone kills their own player. But, as we saw earlier, the choke point was a heavy defense trap that was going to be brutal to break through, and yet they still managed to plant the spike.
Luckily, Sentinels win that round, and both teams are on a full buy. They'll play this round a bit differently, and their strategies will change now that they both have equal gear. You'll notice them playing less in groups and instead spreading their forces out to try and cover more ground as they're now more evenly matched against one another.
And here we see a play where Sentinels wallbang the wall behind Energy Victor to get a couple shots off of him. This play works out, getting Victor all the way down to 59 HP. In Valorant, there are some parts of the map where the material of the walls or boxes are wallbangable, quote unquote, and people can shoot through the wall without being seen. This tactic is often used where a player spam shoots a wall to get some damage off without as much risk to themselves.
Now, NRG is down with one player as Crashies is out of the picture. But they're not done yet, as it looks like they're still trying to hover around A point. Oh, and it looks like NRG is making another move onto the objective. The Sentinels quickly trying to form up a defense.
At this point in the game, we see that NRG has made a lot of contact plays, and they are working in their favor. This is when the team will push onto a site quietly until an enemy makes contact, at which point they execute a rapid site take. When this takes place, players will use abilities and coordinated pushes to overwhelm the defenders, who have been alerted and are often caught off guard.
Right now, we see Energy Victor kill Sentens while blinded, an amazing showcase of game sense and timing. While this might look like luck, Victor actually catches the briefest glimpse of Omen's teleport and is able to line up his crosshair exactly where Omen's head will show up. This requires very precise game knowledge and crosshair placement in order to estimate where the character is going to show up. Alongside that, he is also able to know the perfect timing when Omen will materialize, making it possible to shoot that shot while blind. We'll see another quick replay of that later as well.
It was a rough moment of timing for Tenzi. Instead of choosing to gather together and increase their numbers, they could have double swung over to the site and made sure that the angle was clear first. Since they went with the more risky and stylish option, only Sacy and Zealous remain on SEM. Their strategy of saving guns and utilities while retreating instead of rushing in essentially saved the round.
And here's that blind shot on Tens once again. If you look closely, you can see the animation for his teleport right before Victor gets blinded. From Tens' point of view, this shot probably looked like luck, but from the other point of view, we can understand how that happened. Now we're taking a quick timeout.
And just some more on these Sentinels players. We have Tyson Van No, also known as 10Z, who is renowned in the Valorant community for being a top aimer. Some would even say the best. Zachary Patron, professionally known as Zekin, is considered the youngest superstar duelist in the game. Now we have Mohammed Amin, professionally known as John QT. He is arguably the mastermind behind Sentinel's success. As a player, his impressive strategy stands out, and he reminds you every time you hear his name, as the QT stands for Quality Tactics. We have Jordan Zelsis Montemuro. He's had a successful career with his sharp reflexes and strategic gameplay, but he's most known for being the quote unquote vibe merchant. There's no doubt that in tough moments during the match, Zelsis will be the one to uplift the team and redirect the energy. Gustavo Rossi, professionally known as Sacy, is often the lowest rated player on the team. However, he brings in a lot of overlooked skills to the game, ready to clutch when he can.
The Sentinels' loss on the last rounds put both teams once again on a full bye, with Sentinels at a disadvantage. If they lose this round, their economy will be absolutely destroyed, and they'll have very little chance of winning the round after that, which may contribute to a possible NRG comeback.
In this upcoming round, there are some different strategies SEN can attempt to execute. They can fight in aggressive positions without fully committing to them, or they can also choose to slowly give ground over the course of the round. This way, when NRG gets into a post-plant brawl where they have to execute a push or fight, they will be drained of utilities and won't have much to work with. But it looks like SEN is set up to fight them.
NRG and Sentinels are looking to take a cooldown from this last fight, it seems like. They're both needing to reorganize after both have just been reduced to 4 players, with Zekin and Finesse both dead. They're looking to move from B point to C point, it looks like now, which, if you can see it in the map, looks to be relatively undefended compared to A, as it lacks much of their utility from Sentinel's side. With the time ticking down, NRG will need to make a move and start the final fight, or else the time will be too late.
Gecko here is unique as an agent because he actually has a bit of a reusable ult. Here we can see that he sends it out for information on the enemy, then brings it back to himself so he can easily grab it and use it again if he doesn't see anyone the first time around. In this case, he doesn't see anyone, so he brings it back. This game mechanic is very useful for getting information about enemy locations while also being able to use his ultimate again later. He sends out Thrash for another round, and this time it actually does run into the enemy team, allowing for him to get a pick. Unfortunately, this pick is traded, so the numbers are even once again.
NRG has planted the spike, and the time is quickly running out, with Sentinels trying to desperately apply pressure and halt NRG from closing the gap. Oh, it looks like Tens is trying to go for a defuse, even with Som right around the corner. And both players have choked horribly, Tens even worse so, as he has not been able to kill Som and defuse the bomb. This round ends with NRG having 8 points, Sentinels 9, a 1 point difference.